Have you ever put in serious effort, year after year, and still ended up with almost nothing left to show for it? Maybe your income isn't terrible, but somehow every month empties out before you can build anything. Maybe you've watched other people pull ahead financially while you keep circling the same paycheck-to-paycheck routine. Or maybe you've kept telling yourself that saving will begin once you make more money, except that moment never seems to arrive.
If that sounds familiar, this old story is for you. More than 2,500 years ago, in the city of Wealthica, a poor scribe uncovered a principle so simple and so powerful that it turned him from a man who couldn't hold on to even a single copper coin into the wealthiest man in the kingdom. Today, you're going to learn that same method. Stay with us to the end and take good notes. Long ago, in ancient Wealthica, when merchants crowded the streets trading gold, fabrics, and precious stones, there lived a young scribe named Lycurgus. Day after day, he worked in the record hall, carefully etching legal orders and royal decrees into clay tablets. He was gifted, disciplined, and intelligent. But despite all of that, he remained poor. One evening, several of Lycurgus's childhood friends came to see him. They had studied together, grown up together, and started life from the same place. Yet now all of them were still struggling, while a handful of others had become prosperous. One friend finally put words to their frustration. Lycurgus, we work just as hard as wealthy men do. We're honest. We're not fools. So why does fortune seem to visit them and pass us by? Why do our years of labor leave us with nothing? Lycurgus looked at them, then at his own empty purse. Something shifted inside him. Slowly, he answered, "My friends, I don't know the answer yet, but I refuse to believe this is simply our destiny. If wealth follows laws, then those laws can be learned. And once the laws are learned, they can be used to our advantage, just as the wealthy use them." That night, he made a decision that changed the course of his life. He told himself, "I won't stay among those who stand aside while others enjoy the good things of life. I will claim my share. I will become wealthy." But he also knew desire alone wasn't enough. If he wanted a different result, he needed wisdom from someone who already understood how money truly worked. Not long after, that opportunity arrived in an unexpected form. A powerful moneylender named Xanthus the Rich came to the Hall of Records. Throughout Wealthica, Xanthus was known as a man of enormous wealth, sharp in business, severe in judgment, and not easily impressed. He needed a copy made of the seventh law, a long and difficult legal text. Looking at Lycurgus, he said, "Finish this within 2 days, and I'll pay you 2 copper coins." Lycurgus accepted the task, but the work was longer than he'd expected. 2 days later, when Xanthus returned, the tablets were still unfinished. The old lender was furious. His face darkened. If Lycurgus had been his servant, punishment would have followed immediately. But scribes in the city were protected, so Xanthus could only glare. Then Lycurgus did something bold. He met the wealthy lender's gaze and said, "Xanthus, you're a rich man. I'm a poor scribe who has worked for years and still owns nothing. Tell me how you became wealthy. Teach me what you know, and I'll work through the night without sleep. By sunrise, your tablets will be complete." The room went still. Men did not speak to Xanthus that way. No one negotiated with him so directly. But then, unexpectedly, the old lender smiled. "You're an audacious young man," he said. "Very well. We have a bargain." Lycurgus worked all night. His back stiffened. His eyes ached. Smoke from the oil lamp made his head pound. But when morning came, the tablets were finished. Xanthus returned, inspected the work, and found it flawless. Barely able to hold back his anticipation, Lycurgus said, "Now, tell me what you promised." Xanthus sat down slowly and studied him. "I will tell you," he said, because old men often enjoy passing along what experience has taught them. But listen carefully. If you fail to understand this, you'll think your sleepless night bought you nothing. Then he leaned forward and said, I found the path to wealth when I decided that part of everything I earned belonged to me to keep. Then he stopped. Lycurgus waited. Finally he asked, Is that all? Xanthus repeated the words with intensity. Is that all? That truth alone can turn a laborer into a wealthy man. Then he asked a question. Everything you earn belongs to you to keep, doesn't it? Of course, Lycurgus answered. No, said Xanthus, not at all. Don't you pay the cloth maker, the sandal seller, the food merchant? Don't you spend on offerings and daily needs? He leaned in closer. What remains from last month's pay? What remains from last year's? Lycurgus felt shame rise in his face. Nothing remained. He knew it. Xanthus didn't soften the point. You fool, he said, though not with cruelty. You pay everyone except yourself. You work for others first and leave yourself whatever scraps are left. A man who does that may as well be serving a master. Then he let the lesson sink in. If you kept 1/10 of all you earned, how much would you have after 10 years? Lycurgus did the math quickly. I'd have the equivalent of 1 year's wages. Only part of the truth, Xanthus replied. He took out a gold coin and placed it on the table. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a servant. It can work for you. And every coin it earns becomes its child. And those children can work too. Then those children produce children of their own. That's how wealth multiplies. Next, he produced a small seed. Wealth begins the same way a tree begins, he said, with something tiny. The first coin you save is the seed. Plant it early, protect it faithfully, and one day you'll sit in the shade it creates. Then he stood and gave Lycurgus 4 instructions. First, keep part of all you earn and never let it be less than 1/10. Second, pay yourself before you pay everyone else. Third, put what you save to work so it begins earning on your behalf. Fourth, learn to live on the remaining 9/10. At the door, Xanthus turned back one last time. Follow these rules and you'll become wealthy. Ignore them and you'll remain poor. The choice is yours. Then he left with the tablets. Lycurgus sat alone, hearing the sentence over and over in his mind. Part of what I earn is mine to keep. It sounded almost too simple, but it also felt undeniable. The next time he received wages, he did something he had never done before. From every 10 coins, he set 1 aside and hid it away. The remaining 9 paid for food, clothing, and the ordinary needs of life. And then something surprising happened. He discovered he could live on 9 almost as easily as he had lived on 10. The missing coin barely seemed to change anything. But in secret, a small treasury had begun. As the months passed, his saved coins piled up, and temptation came with them. Merchants displayed luxuries from distant lands, bright garments, rare foods, polished jewels. The temptation whispered, "Spend it this once. You can start over later." But Lycurgus remembered Xanthus's warning, and he held his ground. A year later, Xanthus returned and asked, "Have you saved 1/10 of your earnings?" "Yes, master," Lycurgus said with pride. "Good," said Xanthus. "And what have you done with the money?" "I gave it to Asmar the brickmaker. He traveled to Tyre and promised to purchase rare Phoenician jewels. When he returns, we'll sell them at a profit." Immediately, Xanthus's expression hardened. "So the lesson begins," he said. "Why would you trust a brickmaker to judge jewels? Would you ask a baker to teach you the stars? No, you'd ask an astrologer." Then he said it plainly. "Your savings are gone, young man. You've torn up your wealth tree by the roots." And that was exactly what had happened. The brickmaker had been deceived and returned with colored glass instead of real gems. Lycurgus was crushed, but Xanthus placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Plant another seed. Start again.
Next time, if you want counsel about jewels, ask a jeweler. If you want knowledge of sheep, ask a shepherd. Then he gave him another rule. Advice is abundant, but useful advice is rare. If you trust the financial opinions of people who don't understand money, you'll pay for their ignorance with your own savings. So Lycurgus began again, now wiser than before. This time, when he had accumulated enough, he entrusted it to Hagar, a shield maker who understood the bronze trade. Every 4 months, Hagar paid him a return on the investment. For the first time, his money was producing earnings. 2 years later, Xanthus came back and asked, "What have you done with the income from your investment?" Lycurgus smiled and answered, "I've been enjoying it. Fine wine, honey cakes, rich foods. I even bought myself a scarlet tunic, and soon I'll purchase a young donkey." Xanthus laughed, but there was disappointment in it. "So you're eating the children of your savings," he said. "How can those coins keep serving you if you consume what they produce? And how can they ever create descendants of their own?" Then he delivered the next lesson. First, build an army of golden servants. After that, enjoy your feasts. Let your wealth grow strong before you begin harvesting from it. This time, the lesson reached deep into Lycurgus's heart. From then on, he saved 1/10 faithfully. He invested only with those who actually knew what they were doing. And he did not spend the earnings. He reinvested them. 1 coin became many. 10 became 50. 50 became 100.
The seasons turned, years passed, gray appeared in the scribe's hair, but the tree of his wealth grew taller and stronger. When Xanthus had become very old, he came to Lycurgus one final time. "Lycurgus," he said, "you've learned the laws well. You live beneath your means. You seek counsel from the wise. You make money labor on your behalf. My own sons know only how to spend what I built, and they'll waste what I leave behind. But you have trained yourself in the laws that create wealth." Then Xanthus made him an offer. "I own great lands in Crete that need capable oversight. Come work with me there as my partner, and when I die, you'll share in my estate." So Lycurgus went. He managed Xanthus's land skillfully and faithfully, and when the old lender finally died, Lycurgus inherited substantial wealth. Yet the inheritance itself was not the greatest gift he received. More valuable than the estate was the knowledge he had gained, how to create wealth, how to preserve it, and how to multiply it. That was what truly made him the richest man in Wealthica. Later, when Lycurgus's old friends came asking how he had become so prosperous, he told them the story. Some didn't understand it, some resented what they heard, but a few listened differently. A new light came into their eyes. They understood what Xanthus had taught, and those were the ones who later became wealthy themselves. Friends, this isn't merely an old tale from ancient Wealthica. It's about you, too. The principle that transformed Lycurgus more than 2,000 years ago still works now. Your income level doesn't change the law. Your location doesn't cancel the law. The law remains. Part of all you earn is yours to keep. So remember these 3 rules. First, pay yourself first. Before bills, before pleasures, before anything else, set aside at least 1/10. Make it automatic, make it non-negotiable. Second, put your money to work. Savings that only sit still won't build much. Invest carefully and only take guidance from people who have real success with money, not from people who only have opinions. Third, guard what you build. Don't chase reckless promises of huge returns. A modest and dependable gain is better than a dramatic loss. Once wealth is destroyed, opportunity goes with it. So here's our challenge. The next time you get paid, set aside 1/10 before you touch anything else. If 1/10 feels impossible, begin with 1/20. The exact fraction matters less than creating the habit. Do it for 3 months. Leave the money alone. Watch what happens. You'll likely find that life continues just fine on what remains, and the growing reserve will give you a feeling many people rarely experience, the sense that wealth is beginning to form under your control. You don't need a giant income to become prosperous. You don't need luck. You don't need a sudden miracle. You need to do what Lycurgus did. Save consistently. Invest with wisdom. Let time and compounding do their quiet work. If you live this way, 5 years from now, you'll be surprised. 10 years from now, you'll be thankful. 20 years from now, you'll be wealthy. not because of wishful thinking, but because these laws are as dependable as gravity.
If this ancient wisdom spoke to you, please give the video a like so others can find it too. Share it with someone who's struggling financially. They may need this exact message. Consider enrolling in the PBG Academy to learn how to properly manage your wealth, business, commerce, and private banking. And leave a comment telling us one small change you'll make with your money starting today. The simple act of writing it down breathes life into that commitment. Try it and see.
We'll leave you with Xanthus's final image. Wealth grows like a tree from a tiny seed. Plant that seed now, water it with discipline, protect it with patience, and in time, you'll sit beneath the shade of abundance. From all of us here at the Pride PBG Academy, may your vineyards, your family, your wealth, and your peace be abundantly blessed. And we'll be right here with you along your journey. Until next time, remember this. The richest man in Wealthica was once a poor scribe with nothing but a decision to make. That decision changed everything. Now it's your turn. Go in peace and build your lasting legacy.